Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we are talking about the one, the only, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, Turbo Meme Coin. We are almost at 810,000 followers, which is what we like to see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we like to see. There is no new news regarding Turbo. The newest news is community based that we will be having, every Turbo community member will be spamming posts under big, crypto YouTubers, big pages, anything to do with the summit that's happening on the 7th. So make sure you participate in that just in case you did miss the last video. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, things are, back down. There is a few reasons for it, which we will discuss in just a second. But before we do, right, we can see volume is still very good on Turbo. Market cap just sub 200 million. And if we go to the holders, ladies and gentlemen, we could actually see that, we are near all-time highs. We just dropped by a couple compared to Monday. But I mean, like, it's normal. Every time there's a big red day, we might lose a little bit. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Ethereum, right? Ethereum. Actually, this might be us. But speaking about Ethereum, it's been absolutely trash, generally speaking. If we were on a chain like Solana or whatever it was, or a different type of chain, generally speaking, we would be suffering a little less. And that is the reality, ladies and gentlemen, okay? That is the reality, is that we would be suffering less. But since Ethereum has been kind of dookie, uh, you know, been getting destroyed a little bit more than some of the other coins, we are also suffering more. Obviously, usually, generally speaking, 99% of the time when Bitcoin drops, Turbo's going to drop, Ethereum's going to drop. But the thing is, Ethereum's been suffering a little bit more. If we go to something like the last day, we can see that Ethereum pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, dropped from 2,500 more or less all the way down to, let's see, 16%. It lost 16% of its value. 16%. If we go to something like Turbo in the last day, okay, we'll look at Turbo in the last day. It dropped a little bit more, but let's see how it was the other day. We lost 19%. So we lost 3% more being a meme coin. You understand? Meme coins are supposed to get way more bled out. That's just the name of the game. It's a double-edged sword, ladies and gentlemen, right? Meme coins are a double-edged sword, okay? That is just the reality. And look, we almost did the same as Ethereum. Ethereum has been terrible for us, but there will be redemption. We do have a double liquidity point for Ethereum. So at the minimum, we should get some kind of recovery. Worst case scenario, to sweep these double tops sooner than later. Those are traps. Those happen for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Do not get tricked. Something I want to talk about that you guys have to listen to is listen, right? I'm going to use Ethereum as an example, but this applies for just generally speaking, okay? So we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we are currently down, right? And we may go a little bit lower. Let's just say whatever. Doesn't matter. Ethereum's going to do its thing. And let's say Ethereum tops out at 12,000 and then bear season happens, whatever, right? You have to realize that a lot of people are always like, oh yeah, like, these bottoms down here are amazing and selling near the tops are amazing. Buying somewhere down here and then selling somewhere up here, buying somewhere down here, selling somewhere up there. That's great, right? That's great if you just literally look at from A to point Z. But we are humans. So we also look at point B, point C, point D. We look at the micro moves, ladies and gentlemen. When we look at something like Bitcoin, which I'll explain why it also drops, which is why it's also important for Turbo, right? Turbo holders to listen to this, right? We're at 84,000. Okay, we are at $84,000, ladies and gentlemen, right? $84,000. Sunday night, we were still at 94 and a half, upwards of 95. Monday morning, we were still at 92 and a half, and by now we are at 84. So a day ago, right, a day to 2 days ago, everyone was cheering, everyone was happy. Now everyone's sad and depressed, and again, anxious about the markets. And guess what? Like 5 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, everyone was also depressed about the markets. and you can just see, right? My point is, emotions are up and down. But when we look at the big picture, at the end of the day, it just matters that you bought fairly cheap and then try to sell near the top. That's all that matters. And all this in between, all these emotions people are experiencing right now, ladies and gentlemen, including yourselves, is all going to be irrelevant in the end. It really will be, right? Your mentality should be, okay, well, if I was wrong about altcoin season, if I was wrong about crypto and everything, and for some reason regardless of all the great news, regardless of everything, I lose a lot of money or this goes to zero, then you already know that's one of the possibilities. The other possibility is, you know, a fantastic altcoin season where you cash out. We haven't even had a real altcoin season yet. We've had some coins pump mainly like what last year in March and April, and that was like the peak for most coins. Come on, people, man, you gotta zoom out. You gotta zoom out. You gotta look at the bigger picture, you know? I do these updates because I know you guys enjoy them, but these micro moves in the end of the day are really irrelevant. Now, I will talk about Turbo in just a second, but the reason why we dropped in price, ladies and gentlemen, is because there's been two gaps. Look at this. There is two gaps, which I personally did not even know about until just today, that there are two CME gaps that have to get filled. They don't have to necessarily. They can be close enough and then just ignored for the future, right? But I knew this 85K gap would get filled, which is why we tanked and priced almost instantly. We can see over here, there are no gaps. Pretty much there are no gaps. We can see there's a little gap over here, gets filled up, this little dot. See it, zoom in just for people to see. Look, right? A little gap gets filled in. But generally speaking, there's nothing. I mean, some people might say this counts, but this doesn't really count. Some people might say this counts. And look, I've seen the SPX 500 literally have a gap at like just a couple $100 and it just got ignored for the rest of its life. So certain gaps will get ignored, but a very, very big one like that, 85K, was not going to get ignored. And historically, every time we've covered a gap, right? Gap here, there was a gap. Boom, price went crazy. Look, there's also technically another gap. So maybe Bitcoin will go down to 20K, years down the road when things actually officially die, when the whole world dies. But every time there's been a gap fill, everything has been reset and everything has been booming. So I'm not too worried, right? Regardless of 85 or 78K gap getting filled, I still expect very nice green in the near future. And that is going to be the same thing for Turbo, ladies and gentlemen, right? I will say it is becoming a little bit more worrisome because our structure, we are slowly almost slipping out of it. And the last thing we really, really want is to genuinely slip out, start selling, and potentially lose lots of momentum. Sure, we can fake out and come back right above, but it's still something we would all, want to avoid. That is it pretty much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. Do not stress out over the micro moves. Listen, Turbo is a meme coin at the end of the day. It is going to suffer a little bit more. It does have actually much more better value than most coins, right? Most meme coins. But you got to remember, it is a risky asset. So I'm still very optimistic, right? This is where you call me crazy, but this is where pretty much when most people are fearing, this is when I'm buying. In the Discord, I just mentioned the other day that I did buy a bunch of coins. So yeah, I'm buying up personally. I'm feeling good. I'm doubling down on my positions, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.